Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. We hope you're all doing really well. Today's video we're going to be doing a little sit down chatty thing with you guys because the weather is awful outside. It's snowing this weekend, so we thought we'd just do a little something at home, and we're going to talk about 1 year on with Hannalee, basically. Just a little update, how she's developed over the last 12 months. And you know, the changes that she's made, how John and I have coped as being first-time parents, and our relationship as well. So all of that to come, so do stay tuned. So yeah, Hannalee is now 1. She has changed so much in the past year. She's going to be wriggling and jiggling because it's almost time for her bedtime. But I just wanted to kind of, you know, reintroduce her to you guys. In fact, should we put her down to nap now?
I think so.
Okay, we're just going to put her down to nap. Just give me one sec. Okay, so Hannalee is now down sleeping, taking her nap, so let's get straight to it. When Hannalee was born, don't get me wrong, I had an immense amount of love and this sort of excitement, anxiousness about me. But it's like you're expected to automatically be deeply in love with your baby as soon as it's born. Don't get me wrong, I do love her deeply. She's a part of me, a part of us. But it's like a relationship, any relationship. When she came out, I was absolutely excited. I was absolutely knackered, tired. So all of those things were going through me at the same time. And I had to grow. We grew together in love, Hannalee and myself.
And to get to know her. And to get to know
her. It was a case of, you know, they put this thing on my chest when she came out of me. And it was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what is this? Yeah. And it was a work in progress because I didn't know her, she didn't know me, and I was petrified, I was scared. And we had to grow together. I didn't know what she wanted, I didn't know what her sounds in terms of her cries meant until after a while where I started to get to know her. She recognised me, perhaps from my voice, but she didn't know what I looked like, obviously. So it was that whole getting to know each other kind of game. How was it for you, Rita?
It was tough, particularly was it after about 3 weeks where she had that reflux issue, wasn't it?
I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Yeah.
Where you woke up one night and she was covered in mucus and she wasn't able to breathe properly. You panicked.
That's right. It was the most petrifying experience of my life, other than giving birth. There were 2 occasions where we didn't know what was going on at the time. But the first one, we were woken out of our sleep. Well, I was, from something. I don't know what that something was. And something told me to go over to her cot and check on her, which I did. And within seconds of me approaching her cot, she then vomited. And was vomiting through her nose and mouth. Obviously, we'd never experienced that before, but later when we found out that that's a common thing in babies, to vomit through both sections or both parts. And after she did that, she then started to choke. She couldn't breathe, and I tell you guys, it was so frightening. Her face was going red. There was mucus coming through her nose and her mouth. Her eyes were getting extremely puffy. You can't just probably imagine that situation. It was so frightening.
Before they found the health visitor first.
The health visitor first?
I think.
Right.
And they said if she's not breathing properly, phone the ambulance.
Yeah. Which we did.
So we phoned them and they came out within minutes. They were great, they were there. But
they were guiding us through the process on the phone until we got there, didn't they? Yeah. Telling us what to do.
Then they stayed with us for about half an hour or so. And then they said that they couldn't do anything because because of her age, they could only deal with patients from 2 up, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
And so they suggested we went to hospital. They offered to take us. Just said no, we'd drive down there. Because there was no urgency then, but we wanted to get her checked out.
That's right.
So we drove down to the hospital. We were there about 5:30. in the morning through till about 8. No, yeah, about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And the paramedic was taking us through what to do while they were on their way to deal with the situation. They were telling John to hold Hannalee up in an upright position, make sure that her airways were all clear, and that she should be able to deal with whatever she's going through on her own and sort of come out of the situation by herself. And you know what, guys? She did. She did. Even though I was screaming hysterically and John was, you were really, really calm. Really, really good. She did it all on her own. She was sort of back to normal. She was still sort of red in colour, not as mucousy at all, and just really quiet and peaceful, and we fell back to sleep. And we were like, excuse me, you just had us in a panic attack. What do you think you're doing now sleeping? Yeah, it was so harrowing, wasn't it? They checked all her vitals and they said that she was absolutely fine. And they just told us to explain the situation, what had happened, and they just put it down to reflux. And we were like, reflux? Please, it's got to be more than that.
But it really was, they didn't really talk to us much about it. They just said, yeah, it's probably this.
Yes. And I asked if this was going to happen again, and they couldn't guarantee it, which is fair enough.
They couldn't give us a clear answer at that time. Yeah. And a couple of weeks later it happened again.
Yeah, so guys, we were living on eggshells. I was petrified, I wasn't sleeping properly. And it was just so scary that I just wasn't living the way that I wanted to with a newborn. The first 2 months were really, really scary and very sort of on edge for me. It happened again in the afternoon. At that time I was breastfeeding and I just finished. I had her on my shoulder, just sort of winning her back, stroking her back. And then she sort of started to not cope with breathing again, and then came the vomit again, and I was like, oh my God, here we go again. So I called the paramedics and I was petrified, not screaming, but panicking big time. And the lady said to me, you know, try and calm down as much. She was so good. I wish I remembered her name and who she was, but she was excellent. She took me through it.
Because they said that, I remember you said that they told you that you panic and the baby's going to sense it, even at that age.
Yeah.
That she will then get a panic as well. So, yeah, they talked you through it, and then the ambulance came, took you both to the hospital. I met you there, and I remember that's when we had a good talking to that time, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
We got some good advice from that second trip to the hospital, and about keeping her upright for an hour after feeding, which was very hard in the night time, particularly.
That was so difficult because John and I used to take it in turns. Like, I would breastfeed for however long she wanted, and then John would then take over to
I would have to sit up there for an hour.
Yeah, just to keep her upright so that she wouldn't vomit again or wouldn't reflux, and that went on for about a good 3 months, and it was very
up
difficult.
to about 3 months. That was
very, very difficult.
So the first 3 months were tough.
Yeah.
Dealing with that, but
thank God she only had those 2 episodes.
I was going to say, and as a, you know, compared to what some people have dealt with, it was a walk in the park there.
Certainly, it does throw you a massive curveball, and you're like, nobody told me this was going to happen. What am I supposed to do now? You kind of just have to deal with it on your own. But John was really, really good. You were really good there. I was a panicker. John was calm. As he is now. Look, you could just see the difference. I'm so hype all the time. And John, you're not. You're just so calm.
I'm just tired all the time.
That's not true. You're not tired all the time.
Most of the time.
So funny. Now this one was a brilliant one. Hope you guys can see this properly.
Probably can't see the name.
Yeah. But I'll do a close-up so you guys can see properly what the book's up.
It's called the Day-by-Day Pregnancy Book.
That's right. And this was ace. John found this in Mother Care. And I'll put a link to this book below. And it was an excellent sort of Bible on a day-by-day progress on how pregnancy is coming along. So we found this really, really helpful. I'm sure there's lots of alternatives out there. And I'm sure you guys probably know most of these sort of things, but I just thought I'd share it with you anyway. So there's another good book that my mum's her boss at work, my mum was telling her what I was going through and just, you know, struggling slightly at the beginning, because while I didn't have postnatal depression, I certainly had baby blues. And I think it was roughly down to the whole reflux thing, because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how often it was going to occur. So therefore, I was always on edge slightly.
And feeding as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Feeding was tough, which I'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, so my mum's boss sent me this book. It's called Secrets of the Baby Whisperer. I'll also link this below. This was brilliant. This was all about how to connect with your baby, and just give you tips and hints on that everything is going to be okay. You know, nothing is perfect, and there's no rules on how you should raise your child. It's your child. You raise them how you see fit, as long as they're happy and healthy and all the rest of it, and just reassuring you along the way. So that was a really, really good book. So that's what I would definitely recommend. Breastfeeding was tough for me. Woo, I found it very, very difficult. I was constantly in pain. Unfortunately, I only breastfed up to about 3.5 months, I think it was.
I think it was about 3 months.
3 months, because I just found it so excruciatingly painful. It was, the only way I could probably describe it is if it was like somebody had a piece of cut glass just sort of gashing your breast. I know it probably sounds quite gruesome, but it was so painful, so painful. Even her latch was difficult. Sorry, I was almost about to cut my breast then, but I just found it really, really hard. And that too led to a little bit of me feeling a bit meh about myself.
I think that's what got you blue.
Yeah.
I think that's what got the blues.
Yeah, because I just wanted to do right by her. And there's nothing wrong if you know, bottle feed your baby. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No.
But that's, again, that was another thing I had to come to terms with as well. I was grappling with the whole, you know, I'm not doing right by her because she's not getting my breast milk, and you know, breast milk is probably the best milk. But if you're struggling, or if you're unable to, you have to have an alternative, because at the end of the day, the child has to eat. And that's what my mum and John were just trying to make me understand that it's all about what she needs, and she needed milk at the end of the day, so it had to be bottled, and she was absolutely fine. We didn't have any problem going from breast to the bottle. She just wanted to eat, and that, let me tell you something, guys, that child could eat. She eats us out of house and home.
I seem to remember the first time we gave her a bottle, I think it was a Saturday night, and I went to do the first bottle, and she didn't know what to make of it.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't know. She couldn't work it out, and you then had to feed her. You had
my breast?
No, you had to give her the bottle.
Oh, right.
Because I think she didn't associate me with food.
Oh.
At that point, she didn't associate me with the food, so she didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
Even though I was pushing it up to her mouth and trying to encourage her, she wouldn't accept it because
it was you.
It was me.
And not me.
But then afterwards, after you'd given her that first bottle, she then knew what to do with it, and was fine with me feeding her. She was clever like that. She latched onto that. Yeah. Within 3 months as well, within the first 3 months, I remember that she was going all through the night. She was sleeping all through the night.
Yes.
That was when we went away for your birthday.
Right. That's right.
That was when I first noticed that she was sleeping through the night. So we were lucky. We were very lucky there. That was on about 10 weeks, 2.5 months. She started sleeping right through.
Hey, look, guys, I know this is gonna look a bit chunky, but this is a baby name book because we struggled to come up with names. But this one was really good. I'll also link this below. It's 1,000 plus.
No, 100.
100,000 plus best baby names. That's a lot of names, guys.
We got as far as H.
That's funny. We really did get as far. We just thought, you know what, I'm not going to do any more of this. And it wasn't too We had a few names.
I found a name in that book that I liked.
So did I though. Her name was from this book.
Yeah.
It's also her name is also in the Bible. Comes from the Bible. It's a biblical name. But
well, it's a derivative of Hannah, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Which is.
And there's about at least 7 or 8 different spellings of her name, Hannalee.
And I got to choose the spelling because you chose the name.
Yeah.
And I conceded on the New Year's Eve. So 8 weeks, 2 months before she was born, we were getting ready to go out on the New Year's Eve, and I just decided, you know what, I quite like that name, and I let her have her own way.
You let me have my own way?
I did.
Hey, here we go, it's coming out, it's all coming out. I was like, hey, result.
But I said I need to choose the spelling.
Yes. Yes. So from about 3 to 6 months, that was a good time.
That was the summertime then, wasn't it?
Yes, that was a good time because she was starting to...
She'd had her injections.
Yeah,
so
by then.
So she was okay for going out and about and mixing more with children and people.
That's right. Started going to baby classes and swimming and things like that. That was good. That was a really nice interactive time for her. We had a routine going, her and I, because obviously John went back to work way before that. But
I got 2 weeks off at the start.
Yeah, but she and I definitely formed a routine. From Monday to Friday we knew exactly what we were doing, and then weekends we would do stuff with Dad. That was nice.
I would be getting up and doing the feeding, which I'm still not managed to get away from.
But that's what you like to do though, because like on the weekend John likes to do the morning feed, the breakfast time.
I like to spend the time with her.
Which is always nice. I called my best friend up one morning. I was like, shut up, I just can't come, I don't know what to do. She was like, I'm coming now. And she dropped everything, and because I live quite far from my family and my friends, and she came all the way down here and she cooks. She did that twice. She came down and she cooked for us.
She didn't cook for me.
She did, she left your meal. She did. She put it in the microwave for you.
So I turn it back.
She's going to call you up. When she sees you, she's going to call you up and be like, I did not. So funny, yeah. I haven't even
when you're still reading?
Yeah. Listen, I have issues when it comes to reading. I start books, I don't finish them quite often, but I have finished quite a few, but this one I haven't, admittedly. This is the Wonder Weeks. This is really good as well. It takes you through the months on their development with you. What you can expect, upcoming changes and things like that, and it's really good, helpful book on what to bookmark.
Yes.
Oh.
So we've made it up to week 37.
Did you really have to expose me like that? All right, week 37. Oh, okay. But so up to that, it was really good, and I suppose I should finish it all the way. But I got this from Amazon, so I too will link it down below. So any of you guys who might want to have an insight as to what to expect when your child is with you and how the development goes, this is a good one.
Pocket Commando Dad book, which was a family member bought for me when we announced that we were pregnant. I too made it up to probably about halfway through this book.
You got to quote me.
And I read about half of the book, but then you can read all the books under the sun when it comes to guides on what to do with a baby, but it's just how your baby, what your baby wants to do at the time.
Yeah. This was good.
This is good.
This is good, but this came from my cousin's fiance, Nathaniel. Nathaniel also bought John book. And this is when Hannalee first started eating solids. So when she was about 6 months, look, you guys, you have an idea of what to feed your child anyway. Things like potato. No, yes, you do, but also this gives you a little prompt and to think outside the box and to use vegetables and things like that you wouldn't even think of. And it gives you all sorts. It's mains, starters, puddings, you name it, smoothies, drinks, what have you. Really good. Yeah, soups. I can hear coffee.
We are trying to not give Hannalee meat.
Yeah.
That's a conscious choice by us. But a lot of the things in there do contain meat. At the point we're at now, particularly. Here she goes.
I think she's awake. I think she might settle. It's just been as John said, a conscious decision by us to just not give her any meat right now.
That was actually your choice. Not to.
You're making me out to be this.
No, I'm just saying that I didn't. It didn't cross my mind. I'm all for it. I'm very supportive of it. But that was your choice. It's actually not making you out to be anything. It's probably saying you're probably a better parent than me.
No.
No, I wouldn't have worried about giving her meat, but then you, with your feelings about how meat is processed,
I'm just a little,
and, watered down.
She's eating very well. We do understand now that she's supposed to get a little bit fussy with her eating.
She is getting fussy.
She is.
One day she'll like something, the next day she won't.
That's right. In terms of John and I, in our relationship, being first-time parents and everything, I must say that I've got family members who are very young, who I've looked after on occasions. The last one is 5 now, but 3 of them in particular. I've had practice with them, and John hasn't, have you?
Well, I have a lot of nephew and a lot of nieces, sorry, I should say. I was always a bit too young when they were babies to want to be involved, because my siblings are older than me, and they had children when I was in my late teens, mid to late teens, and then early 20s, and I was too busy going out partying and having a good time, and didn't really want to be getting involved in babysitting and stuff like that. But this is really my first hands-on experience of parenting, obviously, and it's been an experience. I've enjoyed it, or I am enjoying it, I should say, and I'm learning all the time.
She is, I would probably say, a daddy's girl.
She certainly is now.
Definitely.
Because I was off work for 7 weeks at the start of this year, and I really got to spend a lot of time with her then, and really bonded with her, particularly when we were in South Africa, and the weeks before I got back into work, when we came back from there, spent a lot of time with her, and we really did create an even more special bond than we had before.
The way that you are both together, I don't ever get between that. Whenever he wants to have his alone time with her, I absolutely step aside and let them have that time, because she's with me most of the time, when John's at work, exactly. So I don't interfere with that at all. The support has been second to none.
Thank you.
Thanks, babe.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really has been great with you by my side. There has been some, teeth grinding moments where I'm like, John! But otherwise, yeah, absolutely. We like to travel before we had Hannalee, and we did say that, we wouldn't stop that.
No.
She'd just have to tag along and deal with it as best as she can.
So she came to Sicily with us at just under 7 months old,
That's the first time we travelled.
7 months old. First time travelling overseas. And we took her to South Africa.
Thank you all so much for joining in. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
You did well, babe.
Thanks.
John's not one for sitting in front of a camera.
As you can tell.
You did good. I'm proud of you. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. That would be so nice. Subscribe, comment below, and I'll link, as I said, all the books and stuff like that below, so that would be really nice. Yeah, but you can also follow us on Instagram. My handles I'll leave at the end, sorry. So anyway, for now, thanks so much for watching. From us, peace and love.
Bye bye.